Guess your age on Mars using coding. Hi there, my name is Bayari Shankar, and I am a planetary scientist here in the Greater Toronto Area. Coding is the process of using a programming language to tell a computer to behave how you want it to. Every line of code tells the computer to do something, and many lines of code form a script. This script could be used to capture an image or to tell a rover to drive up to an interesting rock feature. Coding is a very useful tool that simplifies complex or repetitive calculations for scientists and engineers. Now, back to our challenge. On Earth, it takes us 1 year or 365 days to revolve once around our sun, and so we celebrate our birthdays once a year. But what about Mars? Mars has a larger orbit than we do on Earth, and this means that it takes longer for Mars to complete that one revolution around the sun. So, if I am 30 on Earth, am I still 30 on Mars? Let's figure that out. This challenge involves 2 parts. In the first part, you're going to do these calculations by hand and come up with an answer. Next, you will create a small program and code a script using a very popular program called Javascript and test it out. You will input your age in Earth years, and if it works out, you should get an answer that should tell you your age in Mars. And hint, if this number matches the one that you calculated by hand, you know your script is working. All you will need is a paper, pencil, calculator, and a computer program with a web browser. First, you will work on these calculations by hand. Your final answer will tell you your age on Mars. Grab a paper and pencil. Write down your age. We're using an example where we list an age of 30. There are 365 days in a year, and every 4 years we have a leap year with 366 days. So, on average, there are 365.25 days in every Earth year. So, if you're 30 years old on Earth, you're going to take this age and multiply it by 365.25 to get an answer that tells you your age in Earth days. Next, you will divide this number by 1.027 to get your age in Mars days. Why 1.027? That's because one Martian day is equal to 1.027 Earth days. With this new answer, you are going to once again divide the number by 668.599. Why 668.599? Well, that is how many Mars days it takes to form a Mars year, which is why you need to divide your number from Mars days to get an age in Mars years. You may want to round this up to the nearest whole number. Next, you're going to open up your favorite web browser. Common platforms like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Safari are all workable platforms. We're using Google Chrome in our example. Once open, hit F12 to open up the console. If this doesn't work, at the right corner of your browser, you will notice a vertically aligned 3-dot icon. Click on that and scroll down all the way till you see the More Tools option. Once you have selected More Tools, that will open up a new sub-panel of more options. Select Developer Tools. It will open up a small side panel that has a few tabs at the top. You will notice that it opens an Elements page by default. To the right of the Elements tab, you will notice a Console tab. Select that. With this console now open, you're ready to write your script using JavaScript. You are going to repeat the same sequence of commands as you did when you were writing by hand. First, you will create a new variable that records your age in Earth years. We will call this variable Earth age in years. By typing this out and defining it with the age you want to input, this reminds the program that there is a new variable and a new number that it will use or it may need to use down the road if the script continues. So, once again, This new variable is Earth age in years, and it equals 30 in our example. Once you have hit enter, you will notice that the number is appearing. That just tells you that that part of the script worked. Now you have created a new variable and have a number assigned to it. You are going to repeat this process and create new variables for each of the parts that we need to calculate our age in Mars years. Next, you're going to create another new variable, this time called Earth age in days, that will refer back to that first variable and multiply it by 365.25 to get an age in Earth days. Note that you have now two unique variables that the program will remember. Next, you will create a new variable that records your Mars age in days using that calculation we defined earlier. So, your new variable, Mars age in days, will equal the Earth age in days variable divided by 1.027. At the end of this step, you will have three unique variables. Next, you are going to convert your age to Martian years using the Martian days answer that your program remembers. But before we do that, note that all your answers so far have had a few numbers after the decimal point. When we create our final input and answer, we don't want all of those decimal points. There is a function within JavaScript that will allow us to remove those decimal points and just keep the whole number in memory. That function is called math.trunc. Note that this function has parentheses right after that phrase. Typically, anything that you want this function to do needs to be within the parentheses. So in our example, we want to create a new variable called Mars age in years. We need to rely on the math.trunc function, and in that function, we want it to refer back to the Mars age in days variable and divide that number by 668.599. If this works out, it should now record an answer that will just be a whole number. So far, the program JavaScript has been recording all the variables and recording answers internally. But we would like to see if that answer is written out as an open message that we can all read and not just have it stored within the program. For that, you're going to type a script that allows you to print your age in the console. There is a new function that allows you to do that, and that is called the console.log function. This function allows you to print messages to the console. So this part of the script will ask for the program to relay a message that appears on the console and tells us our age on Mars, rounded up to the whole number. Call out the console.log, and within that, you're going to type out the script to read your age on Mars is about, call back on the Mars age in years variable, and print it out. In this exercise, you wrote a small program to convert your Earth age to your Martian age. It may have been slower than doing it by hand, but imagine you had to convert the ages of everyone at your school. Doing all that by hand would take a long time. The JavaScript program reuses the same calculation logic for any input, so you will only have to go through the writing process once. You can then instantly convert any amount of ages afterwards. Imagine that time saved. What does your age on Mars look like compared to your age on Earth? Let us know what you find and how you find this activity.